Happy Monday and welcome to the Owatonna Today Show. I'm Shelley Whithead. Thanks so much for joining us right here on Charter Channel 8, where you can see us 6 days a week. If for some reason you're out and about or on vacation and need to catch up with what's going on in the Owatonna area, all you have to do is find us on the internet. We are on YouTube. You can find us on our own channel called Owatonna Today. You can also find us, just look for Owatonna Today Show in the YouTube thing. You can also go to the thirdhandvideo.com, which is Leanne Alt's personal website. Check on the Owatonna Today Show tab and you'll be able to find up the most recent episodes, as well as Facebook. That's the great thing. Like us on Facebook and then she will upload the most recent episode. So no matter where you are in the world, you can find out what's going on in your community. It's a great way to do that. We do thank you for joining us. And we have a good show today. We're going to be checking out the barn bash that's coming up, as well as what's going on in our state parks. We always wonder what's that, so reclusive and they're so quiet over there. Let's go find out. And then the nice thing also is that we are always looking for new ideas. So if you've got something that you want to see coming on to the Owatonna Today Show, you've got an event coming up, we'd love for you to let us know. Just call Leanne Alt at 390-5751 or OwatonnaToday@charter.net and let us know what's going on so we can get you on the air. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Beth Giltvet.
And I'm Dr. Nick Vincelli of Horizon Eye Care.
We want you to see what you love and love how you see. We're proud sponsors of the Owatonna Today Show.
I needed more than just another dead-end job. I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
With the kids off to college, I decided it was time for me to go back to work and express myself.
Express got me in touch with some really great companies. Now I'm on my way to a great career.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
Hi, and welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show. We are at the Steele County Fairgrounds because we're building a barn. Okay, well, I'm not, but these fine gentlemen with me are. And what we're going to do first is give a quick introduction. So we'll start on this end of the line. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Jim Gleason, the Secretary Manager of the Steele County Free Fair.
Ron Vaynard, I'm a director and also am the chairman of the barn committee.
Dan Deml, president of Steele County Fair.
Dan, we're going to start with you because this is your baby. You've got a very big baby. Tell me a little bit. You've been working with, of course, the fair for many years, and you've worked with the livestock. Talk to me a little bit about how this whole thing became a part of the program.
Well, a number of years ago, we saw a need to do some upgrading on our fairgrounds with the racetrack and then our barns, and so we hired a consultant to come in, an architect, to evaluate our needs, and we polled the community and had a lot of meetings, and he put together a master plan, and just shortly after we did it in January of 2010, one of our barns fell down. So suddenly, barn replacement went to the top of the list. And it was his recommendation, because of the deteriorated condition of our other barns, that we would replace 3 of them, all 3 that were east of the show barn, with one large one. And so that kind of started the whole process in motion to go ahead with a project of this size and scope. And that's how it kind of became a reality, or started anyway.
Well, and having talked to Jim a little bit about this, it's kind of been an interesting process because, well, yes, their barn fell down, but there's been some other fixes that happened along the way. Were those a part of the original plan, or you're just like, oh, hey, that works really well too?
Well, one of the issues that we were looking at is we had the foundation barn that we used as a horse barn, but it wasn't large enough to handle all of the horses. And we had a kind of a conflict point that became a larger conflict with the opening of the History Center, in that we had to move the horses across Leisure Lane Road here to our arena. And in the master plan, it called for another horse barn and then replacing our Leisure Lane area with another large horse arena. And as we looked at the whole thing, the suggestion was made, why don't we just flip-flop it and make the new barn the horse barn, so we could get all the horses under one roof, and convert the foundation barn to a sheep and goat barn. And so that made a lot more sense, because we could use the existing arena and then maintain our Leisure Lane for the exhibits. We have the commercial exhibits out there, which provides us a lot of income during the fair.
Well, and that's just it, is people love to come, and that's a big aspect of it. They love the animals, but they also come to see all that leisure lane, as you call it, the fun things that are there. So I wanted to talk to this gentleman because now we're in the building process. There's this obviously a shell, and I'm wondering if there'll be much more done, but why don't you talk to me a little bit about the building we see behind us today?
Okay. Well, when we, as Dan said, we're looking at building the building. We wanted a really versatile building, one that we could put a lot of different livestock species in. We didn't want to zero in on just one livestock species, for example. We wanted it roomy so that we could get storage stuff in here in the wintertime and make some money on storage. So we wanted the doors big and high and tall. But mainly it's a livestock pavilion, a livestock building for livestock for the Steele County Free Fair. And that's important to note.
Well, and I think that's what's been interesting is, as you know, you mentioned those other things, which are kind of side ideals, but this has been built so that it's comfortable, it's spacious, and it actually can be used in an efficient way instead of being all crammed in together.
Exactly, and we wanted good ventilation for our livestock and for the exhibitors when they're at the fair, and we wanted it to be a very flexible building. So our stalling is set up so that we can handle many different types or species of livestock. We hope we can attract some shows other than at the fair during the summer, some livestock shows, horse shows, that kind of thing. Bring more people to our community and to our fairgrounds.
Well, we were talking a little bit with Dan about some of the problems that were fixed, maybe that weren't thought about before. And one of the things we talked about is the safety issue. Now that we've kind of got it all over here, explain what it was like before and how that will solve that now.
Okay, sure. Before we, especially with the horse department having to cross the road, as you see here, to get into the arena, we had some safety issues with people also entering the grounds from the Village of Yesteryear entrance, and people and livestock sometimes could be a problem. It's an animal, a horse is an animal, or a steer is an animal, because they have the same issue with the cattle, and they could be some dangerous kinds of situations happening. So what we wanted to do was to put the horses here so they can go straight through the barn into the horse arena. The beef cattle or whatever can go straight through the barn into the show arena there with minimal amount of contact with our fair patrons, the people that come to visit the fair. Also, the horse people didn't have a warm-up area to warm up before the show.
We saw a lot of kids in the
yeah, so
road.
they're out in the street here warming up,
Yeah.
and that's a problem too with pedestrians, people coming in, our fair patrons. Now we'll have enough room because we put the barns together. We gained enough space. We can have a warm-up arena between the barn and the horse arena, so our horse people can warm up their animals in that area as opposed to out in the street here. So.
If you were to estimate how many pieces of livestock, I don't even know how to say that because I'm so not a farm girl. How many animals can you get in this building?
We have 142 stalls that we can get in the building, and box stalls, that would be one horse per stall. Now there are some tack stalls and a few other ways that the stalls get used other than putting an animal in it. If we our stalls are designed so we can convert them into tie stalls. And with tie stalls, we can get in twice as many.
Okay.
So with a draft horse, for example, we don't put those in box stalls. We put in tie stalls. So we can actually get two big draft horses in the same area that we can get one regular stock horse, as they might be called. So so it's the flexibility that we really like with the stalling and the barn itself. We also designed it to make it very easy to clean. Our people can just run right through those doors there with a skid loader, push it out to the back to our manure storage area there, and it gets hauled out. So we also looked at designing it so that it would be very efficient for our crew to take care of the barn as well.
I was just going to talk about that because it's got to be kind of the dream opportunity, having had the Steele County Free Fair here for so many years, seeing what things didn't work, what things could be better, to be able to build a facility like this to make it even more streamlined for everybody, whether it's somebody viewing or it's somebody bringing their own animal. It's got to be an amazing opportunity.
Mm-hmm. It is, and there's a lot of people that put a lot of input into this thing. I always think if we can gather all the ideas of everyone and put them together, we can come up with a really good solution to a lot of our problems. Mm-hmm. And we think we've accomplished that. Are there going to be problems? Yes, we will still have problems. There always will be problems that need to be solved. But we tried very hard to get everyone involved, to get the input from everyone on our board and our community to take. So we had a barn that's really useful and will help us make the fair even more successful.
So as you can see, the barn does look beautiful and big, but it's not quite done yet. And so we're going to bring this gentleman over here. Come on over here, big fella. So because we're talking to you next, because it isn't done yet, and there's still opportunities for people to help build this barn. So we're talking about the Barn Bash.
Oh, well, yes, and thank you. Yes, our Barn Bash is coming up on the 28th of June. We're doing it a one-day event this year on Saturday, June 28th, and we got a big lineup of things going on that day. Everything starts off at 11 o'clock that morning. The Car, Truck, and Tractor Show, classic Car, Truck, and Tractor Show will be over in front of the grandstand. That'll start off then. Our food vendors, we've got 6 food vendors that'll be opening up here. We've got music starting at 1 o'clock. From 1 o'clock on, 3 bands in Fair Square, Dan Stursa, the Morning Kings, and Lead Penny. And then Brat Pack Radio will entertain in the beer garden starting at 9 o'clock from 9 to 12:30 inside the beer garden. We've got kids games. 4-H is going to run some kids games. We have Vogel's Pony Rides will be here. We also have a couple of kiddie rides from Gold Star Amusements. Our carnival is going to bring down a couple of those. We have camping available up here for overnight. What am I forgetting here? We've got the auctions, yes. Great silent and live auction, and we are still taking donations right up until auction time for that. We're going to have a silent and live auction, actually, and so that'll go good. Raffle tickets available to help support this barn here, Shelley, and stuff. So, yeah, a lot of things going on. It'll go all the way to about 12:30 at night, so start at 11 in the morning till 12:30 the next morning. We want to invite everybody up. They can certainly come down and view the barn. I don't know that we'll have occupancy by then, but they can certainly be able to drive by and actually see the barn this year. So
that's what will be fun is you're seeing it today, kind of somewhat finished. It actually looks pretty good. Looks like, of course, there needs things to be done, but it looks really good. But then to come back on that day and see even what more is done. And it's been fun because watching people walk by and checking things out. So when is the event again?
The event is June 28th, coming up on Saturday, June 28th, all day long up here at the fairgrounds, and a lot of free stuff and some good food and a lot of things going on. So we invite everybody to come up and help support the barn effort and have some fun.
Yes, if you've been to the Steele County Free Fair and you've been through the barns, you want to come help support it that way. Thank you guys so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. We will be right back. Please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Rick Smith, Golf Course Superintendent of the Brooktree Golf Course. Brooktree is an 18-hole championship golf course featuring well-manicured greens, tees, and fairways. We are open to the public. I challenge you to find a better maintained golf course for the money we charge here at Brooktree. Come on out and play Brooktree, a great golf course.
The United Way Women's Leadership Council invites all community women to our first annual Power of the Purse event on Tuesday, June 17th at the Owatonna Country Club. Enjoy great food, a silent and live auction, and hear about our partnership with the Dolly Parton Imagination Library and Owatonna Rotary. We plan to mail every child in our community a free book every month from birth to age 5. The Dolly Parton Foundation pays for all of the books. 100% of our proceeds will pay for the postage.
Hi, I am Dr. Amy Swain from Amy Swain Hearing Centers, and for more than 20 years I have been helping people hear better. It has been a very rewarding experience, but so many people put off getting help with their hearing. Clients often tell me they wish they had started wearing hearing aids sooner, as their quality of life was improved so much with better hearing. Call me today at 1-800-804-3361 for a free hearing test at Amy Swain Hearing Centers of Owatonna, Austin, and Waseca. That's 1-800-804-3361, where Dr. Amy Swain wants everyone to hear better.
Hi, I'm Brenda with the Mortgage Office of Brenda Bednar, aligned with American Mortgage and Equity Consultants, where closings feel right from the beginning. I'm a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hello, I'm Sean McNulty. And I'm Deb Gillard with Brookdale Senior Living, Sterling House, and Clarebridge of Owatonna. And we are a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, I'm Ron Clancher with Clancher & Son Landscaping and Concrete. We support the Owatonna Today Show, and so should you.
Not really ever.
And we're back with the Owatonna Today Show. Really want to also let you know that the barn that is being raised would like to thank the Alan R. Radel family, and they'll be naming it after Alan R. Radel, so make sure you check that out. But now we're going to be talking with Sandi Gatlin. Sandi is an amazing person. We've known each other for about 1 billion years. We are twins, actually, in another life, I think.
True.
So go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Sandi Gatlin, and I'm park technician out at Rice Lake State Park.
How many years have you been working at the state park?
This 13 years. This is my 14th season.
How did you get involved in working with them?
Well, I was first involved with the Friends group, Friends of Rice Lake State Park, and that's how I found out about a position that was available back in 2000, but it was part-time seasonal, so I didn't think that was really going to play very well.
So like only summertime kind of thing.
Right,
You were like a camp counselor in a way.
Well, sort of. Not really.
No. Okay.
No, I'm not a camp counselor. I checked in campers.
So there you go.
But I actually didn't take that. I applied for it the next year when their parks worker left.
Okay.
And I applied for the position and interviewed with the then park manager, which was Roger Heimgartner.
And you did that for quite a few years.
I was a parks worker up until November of 2012.
Okay.
When they created the position that I have now.
Which is?
Park technician.
And what does that mean? Does that mean you fix the parks? You kind of, adjust it a little if it gets fuzzy?
Yeah, sort of. They created the position. Our park manager, Joel Grebner, who had been there for about 10 years with me, worked with me, he took a position up at Itasca State Park to work at their campground.
Oh, okay.
To manage their campgrounds in LaSalle Lake or Lake LaSalle campgrounds. So when he moved, they were deciding what to do, whether to replace him or to do something different budget-wise. So they decided to create the park technician position. So I applied for that and got it, thankfully.
And that's now not seasonal. That's
actually, it is seasonal,
still
but
seasonal.
it's full-time.
Okay.
But it's still seasonal. Sorry. And it runs roughly from mid-March to mid-December, and possibly a little past that.
Okay, because this is the kind of new thing, so you'll kind of see how it goes. And
well, and the position that was created as a seasonal position. And then my new boss, who's actually not new anymore, he's been there for a couple of years, he's the Parks and Trails area supervisor. I believe you've had him on before, Joel Wager.
Okay.
And they assigned him to be the park manager for Rice Lake.
Okay.
So he's based out of the park now instead of the Rochester office.
So do you do more, since being the technician, are you more of a hands-on kind of person where Joel's like administrative paperwork, blah, 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 and you're kind of in the...
That's kind of the theory. It's not always working. I'm still doing a bunch of the office paperwork, budget, bills, that kind of stuff. In theory, I should be getting out more, and I have been. I'm doing a lot more training. I just, as I told you earlier, just finished chainsaw training.
Yep.
So now I can cut down trees.
Wow, don't mess with her.
Yeah.
You're frightened. Very, very frightened.
No, I'm very respectful of the saw.
Yeah, well, and that's just it. So this is, when you went into this, you were already part of the parks. You loved the parks already. It was something that you did.
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine that you would be someday, chainsawing up really big trees?
No, and I can only go up to 12 inches.
Oh, okay.
But no, because this is not my background. I didn't go to school for this.
Yeah.
But I've always loved outdoors and being outside, and I have a great view from my window of the outside.
You count deer a lot, don't you?
I do, yeah, as they walk through the parking lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it out there, and it's nice that it's full-time with all the stuff that I have to do, that I can spend more time getting some of that done. And earlier in the season, the old position, I'd come in later and kind of have to play catch-up a little bit. So.
Nice, good.
Yeah.
So since you are in the know-how of all these parks, we've had a lot of rain lately.
Yes.
And so I wanted to kind of cover what was going on with the Rice Lake State Park and how it's doing.
Okay.
As far as the rain goes.
For us, for the rain, we were okay. Yes, the trails were flooded and muddy, and several of the campsites had standing water on them. I had to close one.
Okay.
And
how many campsites are in the park?
On the main campground, there's 40 campsites. 18 are electric.
Okay.
And a few, we had people that had reservations. They moved to different sites that were a little bit drier.
Okay.
That's all starting to dry out. So we didn't really we had lots of debris,
Oh.
branches and twigs and stuff down over trails. And we had a couple trees come down. One that I told you about earlier, that fell solely because of the fact that the ground was so saturated.
Oh.
That it just got uprooted and
Oh,
fell
wow.
across the campground road.
Wow.
So
Well, that was fun.
yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
And then we had another one down on a trail, but the trails were too wet for us to even get to that.
So if people want to go out camping this weekend, they're going to be fine. They're going to have plenty
Oh,
of
yeah.
campsites to do
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
How
yes.
full do you get? Because you have a reservation system.
We do.
And
Yep.
so is it pretty full throughout the summer?
We get, for our park, we get really busy on the weekends,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the campers leave on Sundays.
Okay.
We do have campers throughout the week, but not as many.
So if you're interested, a weekday kind of camping trip would actually be ideal because it'd be a lot less people and
Right,
more
right.
opportunities.
Yeah,
Okay.
and for us, if you're coming like Sunday night through Thursday night, if it's
Mhm.
not a holiday weekend,
Yeah.
you're probably not going to need reservation.
Okay, cool, good. So, but look for those weekend things.
Mm-hmm.
When people come to the parks, this park specifically, what are some of the things that they're going to want to do?
We have about 5 miles of hiking trails and, like I said, 40 campsites on the main campground. One group site, 5 walk-ins, 4 cart-in
What's a
sites.
walk-in?
Walk-in sites, it's you park like maybe 50 yards from your campsite.
Okay.
Then 4 cart-in sites, which are right on the lake,
Okay.
and 5 canoe-in sites, which you can get to across the lake.
So you have to actually put all your stuff in a canoe,
Right.
scooch it over the water.
Exactly.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
that's more the hardened campers.
Yeah, you have to be prepared for that.
Don't
so
be
you
a first timer going there, probably.
Probably not, because you probably pack too much to get over there. so.
Sink the canoe.
Yeah.
It'll be a big mess. Big mess.
Yeah. And we do rent canoes and kayaks.
Okay.
And we're also a really big birding park. We get big migrations in the spring and fall.
Of what kind of birds?
All kinds, songbirds, waterfowl, shorebirds. Last year, because of the drawdown, we had quite a few shorebirds coming in that hadn't been there in a bit just because the mud flats were exposed.
Okay.
So
Nice.
Yeah.
And you also, the park, that's great, and that's a lot of stuff, but you also try and have activities.
Correct.
You have events that people can actually do.
Yeah, naturalist programs, interpretive programs, and this year I've gotten quite a few scheduled throughout the season. We don't have a naturalist, but we have volunteers that provide the programs for us.
Okay.
One that happens every year is there's 3 astronomy programs on each major holiday that's provided by Steele County Astronomical Society, and they've been doing that for years for us. Also, Al Bat is coming.
We love Al Bat.
Yeah.
He calls himself a bird nerd.
Yeah.
He just really does love birds, and
Yeah.
he's just such a humorist as well. He
Yeah.
really has a lot of fun with it. If you have a chance, go see Al Bat.
Yeah.
He is really ridiculously amazing.
That's going to be fun to have him. We haven't had him in a few years,
Good.
so that'll be good.
And he's a local guy. Is it
Heartland.
Heartland. That's
Yep.
right. Yeah.
And then local from here, Kathy Van Omeren,
Mm-hmm.
the butterfly lady. She comes out and does a program for us on monarchs and butterflies.
Which is really fascinating right now because we're seeing a lot less of monarchs, and so it'd be kind of
We did
interesting,
last year,
yeah, to kind of see what she says and kind of
Yeah.
learn a little bit more about that and what that means
Mhm.
and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So these are amazing opportunities. How do people find out?
Well, if you go to our website, and
It's up on the screen, or will
yeah,
be?
dnr.state.mn.us, and go to state parks, and then the events calendar will list all the events for all the parks that have posted them there.
Okay.
Or you can go to each individual park website, and there's a naturalist program link that will take you just to the list of their programs.
Okay, so, and then also I'm sure if they called the office, you guys would be able to help them figure out what's going on too.
Right, yeah. And it's good to there's brochures that get printed for spring and fall that have the programs, but it's always good to check the website because not all the programs make the printing.
And because it might be something that would be after the printing, like you just said, Al Bat, you just kind of got him on there, so.
Right,
So
exactly.
he may
And I
not be in there.
have 2 or 3 others that aren't on the website yet.
Okay.
That didn't make the printing.
Yeah.
I've got a couple programs. Oxbow Park is coming out to do some programs
Ooh,
for us.
nice, good.
Yeah.
So do you set those up yourself too, or do they
Yes.
come to you? Okay, so you're
Yeah.
kind of reaching out all the time. To
And
find
some
them.
are the reoccurring ones, like Gene Kispert with Steele County
Yeah.
Astronomical, Kathy,
Yep.
Jim used to do it. Jim Ruska, and now his son Tim Ruska do a night hike every year.
Oh, fun.
So,
do you have a lot of photographers who like to come out to the park? And
yes, actually, yeah.
Because it's such a beautiful place.
It is. It's nice and quiet.
How long does it take to get from Owatonna to the park? If you're
It's about, from my house, it's 9 miles, and I'm right by Morehouse Dam.
Okay.
So it's about 15 minutes.
So it's a great, we're so lucky to have that so close by us.
Straight out on Rose Street.
So make sure you get out there and enjoy it. Well, thank you for your time today.
Sure, thanks.
And we will be right back. Please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Jake with Napa Auto Parts.
Napa has the know-how for all your automotive needs.
Napa is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hello, my name is Katie Marshall. A year ago, my family and I became homeless. We were scared and alone. Today, with the help of Steele County Transitional Housing and generous donors like you, my family and I are safely housed. I am working, going to college, paying my rent on time. My children have a warm bed to sleep in every night. My family and I are so grateful for this second chance. Please help others in need by donating to transitional housing today. Everyone deserves a safe place to live.
And it's time to take a look at some of your community service announcements. It's the Family Arts events over at the Owatonna Arts Center. June 21st is the Summer Solstice double feature. At 3 o'clock, they're going to have sidewalk art. And then from 8 to 10, it's the outdoor movie night, which is Despicable Me. It's a great opportunity to have some fun. Also coming up on July 12th, it's Happy Birthday Owatonna Arts Center. Make sure you get out and celebrate with them from 10 to 2:30 that day. It's just a great opportunity to thank them and to kind of see what's new at the Arts Center. The Steele County Free Fair is having their Barn Bash, which is beginning at 10 o'clock coming up this weekend. It is a tractor and truck show, and then there also is a $10 entry fee. So if you'd like to be a part of that, please do. There will be entertainment outdoors at the Fair Square stage. Then there's going to be kids' activities, 4-H groups, kiddie rides from Gold Star Amusements, Vogel's pony rides, and some of your favorite fair foods will also be there. And the fair pre-made books have now been distributed around the county. You can be picked up at the Steele County Banks, libraries in Owatonna and Blooming Prairie, Steele County Extension Office, city and government centers. But you want to get over there and enjoy the Barn Bash that's coming up this weekend. It'll be a great opportunity. July is Adopt a Shelter Cat Month. The Steele County Humane Society is encouraging and celebrating the adoption of rescue cats by reducing their adoption prices by $25 for any cat or kitten you choose to adopt during the month of June. Call 507-451-4512 to meet the fabulous felines. It's Artsy Book Club at the Owatonna Arts Center with Diamond Willow. Read the book Diamond Willow by Helen Frost. Then come to Owatonna Arts Center for a discussion and an art project. This is coming up on Tuesday from 2 to 3. This is grades 6 to 8, and it's $5 for that event. Also, Preschool Art House coming up on every Thursday. It's where child with an adult classes, and they're going to talk about the process, not the product, enjoying that opportunity. And they're going to be exploring a different medium each week, and it is ages 3 to 5 with adults. At the Riverbend Nature Center, there is a new event called Evening on the Prairie that will take place this Thursday. The event will have hors d'oeuvres, cocktails, entertainment on Riverbend's enchanting prairie. Entertainment will be by the legendary storyteller and musician Duke Addix. So make sure you get out there and enjoy some of the amazing opportunities we have throughout the Owatonna area. Castillo on Wednesday, we're going to be talking to a bunch of kids and their sponsor about their trip to Washington, D.C. from McKinley School. So we'll see you then. Have a great day.